Chloe, what would you say are the main differences between Chambers and the Legal 500?
Well, as you know, I've been inside Chambers and you have as well. So we're both very familiar with how Chambers operates. But other members of our team have experience inside Legal 500. However, from a client perspective, I think the easiest way to look at it is in terms of the methodologies of research, and that's the main area of difference between the two directories. As I understand, Chambers is very referee driven. About 60% of its methodology is focused on what contacts are saying in the market, an additional 10% is peer feedback, and the final 30% is about the quality of the submission document itself, principally the work highlights. For Legal 500, it sort of turns that on its head because it's more interested in the quality of the submission document and the firm's general trajectory in the market over the past 3 to 5 years. And combined, those two elements probably account for about 70% of the weighting in its methodology. And the final 30% is referees. So in essence, if I'm a client looking to submit to both Chambers and Legal 500, I would always reserve my A-list referees for Chambers and either use the same referees for Legal 500 or lesser important referees on that list.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Matt, if I was a first-time law firm client and I'd never submitted to either Chambers or Legal 500 before, what would you advise as my likely ranking outcome in both directories after a first-time submission?
A very good question. I would always say that you should not expect amazing results from your first submission. Both of them take time, and it's unlikely that you'll achieve anything in your first year. I would say you're probably more likely to have a quicker result with Legal 500 than with Chambers, just because of the time it takes to build up that volume of client feedback, which, as you say, is the most important part of the Chambers research process. I think it also depends a little bit on what area the law firm operates in. For example, in Asia, Legal 500 carries a greater weight than it does in other legal markets like the US and the UK and Europe, where most people would tend to say that Chambers is the gold standard and the one where you should focus your directory efforts.
If you have a more niche practice area, or you come from a jurisdiction that's not widely covered, for example, do you think Chambers or Legal 500 or both should be targeted?
It depends on which of those directories provides the coverage that you are looking for. So, for example, working with a boutique tax law firm, I would advise that they perhaps look more at Legal 500, where I think some boutiques have tended to achieve better rankings than they have in Chambers, because they're always up against the big players in those areas. But yeah, obviously it's Chambers and Legal 500 that are both the gold standards and kind of way above any of the other directories that are out there. And that's mainly because of the research process that is behind the Chambers and Legal 500 rankings, because, as you know, Chambers has its system where it scores firms on 1 to 5 on bench strength, sophistication of work, and client service.